Thank you very much. All right, so I'll restart back. Welcome to this wonderful session, and I hope you all great. And to see you all here in your numbers, it implies that we are all here for growth and we want growth. So uh, I won't talk so much because time is of our need to maximize time. Quite 1 hour will be very small, but I believe that as the day goes on, other good things are going to come up because this is not just a one-time meeting, but it's a movement. If you read my write-up today, I said this is not just a one-time meeting, but something that's going to prepare us for a whole lot of things. Because if you are in that WhatsApp group, it shows that you are hungry for growth, and trust me, we are ready to give you the best and nothing but the best. Without much ado, at exactly 5 minutes after 6, we're going to welcome our first speaker for today. The main speaker for today, who's going to come in to talk a whole lot to you people. I will not love to introduce him or what he's going to say, but he's going to do it. He's somebody who has traveled the whole world, spoken to a whole lot of people, and have empowered a whole lot of people, both from the corporate to every angle. He has been doing it. And if you are attentive and ready, trust me, you are not going to leave here without something great. Please take your time. If you have your phone, which is on ring, put it on silent, or even off it, switch it off, or put it on do not disturb mode to avoid anything that will disturb you at this moment. So, at this moment, we are going to welcome our speaker, number one. I want to introduce him. He's going to do it for himself. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's make welcome Dr. Joybert. Doctor,
Thank you so much, Cyril. How are you doing, my brother?
I'm good.
Hello, everybody.
All right,
Good to
Doctor.
see everybody.
Doctor, I'll leave and you take control.
Okay, no problem.
Yes, I'll
All
leave.
right. Okay. Beautiful. Hello, everybody. How are you all doing today? Now, to ensure that I know who I'm talking with and so that I can also know how to structure what I was saying. If you already run a business or a nonprofit, can you type the word founder? If you are still aspiring, can you type aspiring so that I will know how I'm going to structure this so that I don't keep anyone out? All right. So if you already run something, an initiative, it must not be registered, but you're a founder, all right? Something that is up and running, you're impacting one person, two people, 10,000 people, it doesn't matter. If you have something that you're running, type founder in the chat box. And if you are still aspiring to start something, can you type aspiring? All right, I see two founders. If you don't fall within these two groups, can you kindly leave us? All right, I'm joking. At least you should fall within one of these groups, okay? All right, I see Constance. Hi, Constance, good to see you. Founder Emanuela, Jacqueline, founder, that's good. Aspiring, yeah, awesome. Awesome. All right. So those of you not participating, we're going to call 911 on you. All right. All right. Christine says founder. Lucien says aspiring. Good. I love it. It's a balanced community. I love it. I love it. I love it. All right. Good to see everybody again. My name is Dr. Joybert, and I do a lot in this space in terms of consulting and training, and of course, coaching. And this is something that I'm really passionate about. And what I'm going to share with us is something that I have done it over and over for the last couple of years, and I have seen it play across both in the business sector and in the nonprofit sector. Although I can say that over 80% of my work is with business owners in the area of strategy and design thinking and innovation and all of that. But I've done a lot of work also, with people that have nonprofits. For example, in the United States, especially, I get to do a lot of work with business people, especially SMEs, and we have helped them to be able to design amazing ideas that can stand the test of time. And also, for nonprofits, I've done a few projects with the US State Department, working with NGO founders and community organizers. And what I want to share with you, these are things that these people like to find when you're writing a project or when you submit a project or you submit a business plan, actually. All right. And if you understand how to practice this, it will definitely help you a lot more. Okay. So I'll be talking with us for a few minutes, and this is like kind of a 4 hours master class. I'll try to teach in less than 45 minutes to you guys. So thank God it's recorded. You can pick a few points to use, and I'll try to give as many examples as possible. Now, the second activity, if you run a business, can you type the industry where your business operates? It could be healthcare, it could be technology, it could be what else? Finance. There are so many industries. If you run a nonprofit, can you type your sector? Are you in youth development? Are you women empowerment? Are you um, financial literacy? What else? Just type your sector so that I know how I can use these businesses to give examples on nonprofits. All right. Awesome. So my session today is design thinking for community impact projects. Design thinking for community impact projects. Now, why is this very important? This is one thing that when you submit a business plan, even you submit a project, many grant reviewers, many grant readers, and fortunately for me, I have been in committees where I review business plans and I review, non-profit projects so that they can be funded. And when many grant reviewers or business plan reviewers, when they're looking at these things, there are some, let me say, thematics. There are some key things that they want to see in your business plan or in your nonprofit project that can cause them to say, oh, this project is good for funding. This business plan is good for investment. All right. And one of those major things that they look at is design thinking. How are you able to bring design thinking into that particular project that you are running or your business? So basically, design thinking is that principle that if you are serious about community impact or running a good business, you have to be good at applying or integrating in what you're building, right? And design thinking is just a structured, human-centered approach to solving problems. As simple as that. It's a structured, human-centered approach to solving problems. So when you study grants, you understand that when they're providing, let's say, what they are looking for, you understand that grant makers or even investors, they favor proposals, they favor business plans that demonstrate in detail things like empathy, clarity, creativity, feasibility, and of course, what we call testability. All right. So if you are building a business or you are running a profit, this is something that you cannot avoid not to be good at. Because design thinking will now enable you to structure what you're doing in a way that the problems that you are creating under your business, right, or the solutions you're creating to solve a particular problems, they are centered around the needs of the people that you are targeting. So if I look at your business plan or I look at your project, if I say, oh, this project has a lot of design thinking in it, what I'm trying to say is that the way you have designed your project, it focuses on creating solutions that are desirable for the people, they are feasible to build, and they are viable to sustain. These three things. When you're writing a project, when you're designing a solution, if I am reading it, or somebody who wants to give you money is reading it, or an expert who reviews grant, when they are reading it, they want to look at a few things. Number one, is this project desirable for people? The people you are targeting, will they desire the project? Number two, is it feasible to build? Does it have a future? Is it feasible to build? And then number three, is it viable to sustain? Will this NGO, will this nonprofit, will this business be sustainable in the next 10 years? So I can read your business plan today, I can read your project today, and I can say, oh, based on some things I see in this business plan or this project, this will be viable to sustain. That's why sometimes if you come in our circle of work, you hear us using statements like, this is not sustainable, right? Because that is based on what we see after looking at what you submit, either a business plan or a project. And design thinking, when you understand it, it enables you to build a project that is, number one, desirable for the people you're targeting to serve. Number two, it is feasible to build. If they give you money, you can build it. Have you had ideas that even you, if you give money to that idea, you know they cannot build that idea, right? The idea can sound so exciting, but if you look in detail, you can ascertain that no, although you are excited about this idea, it is not feasible to build. And number three, it is viable to sustain. It can be sustainable in the next 5 years, 10 years, and even 50 years. So design thinking enables you as a founder to treat every challenge as an opportunity and to design a project that has a better human experience. So it is a must have. If you have grants that will be selected, you see, I have reviewed many people, for example, many grants where somebody says, I have submitted this grant to many donors and it has not been funded. And when I say, okay, give me the grant, let me go through. And when I go through many things that, one of the main things that you will not find in the grant is it lacks a lot of components that can enable that grant to be selected by the donors. And these components are part of that design thinking that you should be able to incorporate into your grant. So ultimately, design thinking enables you to humanize innovation. Like I always say, don't sit in your room and think of an idea and go execute. Or think of an idea, then write a project around it and expect somebody to fund that idea. To an extent, you may get lucky, but very few people get that lucky. But when you are able to incorporate design thinking elements into it, you are able to humanize that idea, humanize that innovation, right? And when you are practicing design thinking, one thing that makes it applicable for you is that you come to that point in your project design or in your business design where you understand that progress starts and ends with people. Progress begins and ends with people. So if your project is going to progress, you have this consciousness that it starts and ends with people. So with that introduction, and then I can take questions, is what are the 5 stages of design thinking? If you are going to effectively integrate design thinking into your, women empowerment nonprofit, into your real estate, into your youth empowerment NGO, what are the 5 stages that every founder should be able to practice and effortlessly do this? Yes, anybody can do this. Number one, the first stage of design thinking is empathize. Empathize, right? Sometimes people call it compassion. Empathize, like putting yourself in the shoes of the people that you're targeting to serve. Empathize. That's the first stage of design thinking. Now, this is where, as a founder, You bring yourself to the place where you deeply understand the people affected by the problem. That's empathizing. You deeply understand the people affected by the problem. So, for example, somebody here said that you run a youth development NGO and you want to design a youth program. Now, to practice this aspect of empathizing, you can do that by number one, going to that community where you want to serve those young people and living in that community for 1 week, for example. And you interview the young people about the barriers they are facing in that area. Let's say you want to address education. You're like, okay, why is it that young people in this community don't go to school up to university? Why? You see, apart from just assuming that they don't go to school, can you go there and can you interview them to understand their barriers? Let's say that you somebody said he or she is in healthcare, and let's say you want to increase healthcare access in certain suburbs in the United States, for example, and you want the government to give you grants to go start clinics in poor areas in the United States. You can go in those areas. Or you notice that, oh, you know what? Patients get very bad patient treatment in other clinics. And you want to start a clinic of your own, a clinic chain, a clinic franchise. And you're looking for investors to give you money to start a clinic franchise with a unique clinic experience. You see, now to do that better, you can decide and say, you know what, I'm going to shadow patients through a clinic experience. Let me follow patients from start to end and see the kind of experience they go through when they attend a clinic. That's you trying to empathize what they're doing. You see. So your project is incomplete if your project does not have voices of the people you're targeting. Yes. If I read your project and you have empathized with the people, there is a way your project will carry the voices of the people that you are targeting. There's a lady that I reviewed her project. She had been applying for funding, she didn't get it. And I said, you know what? Do you have pictures of you ever been in that community? She says yes. Add the pictures at the end of the project. Those pictures automatically shows any grant reviewer that, hey, this lady has been in that community. They saw her empathizing with the target community. Guess what? She started getting funders to fund the project. You see that? So I have a question. I'm a strategist, so I like to ask questions for people to practice. I have a question for you. Write down 3 voices missing from your current project design. Write down 3 voices missing from your current project design. If you currently have a project you're designing or you're about to design, ask yourself, whose voice must be in this project? Whose voice must be in this project? Go find them, interview them, and add their voices in that project. For those of you that are full-time already in nonprofit and business, you can ask yourself, how can you engage those voices this month? How can you reach out to them and talk to them? So empathize and make sure that you deeply understand the people affected by the problem. So an example is coming to me. There's a project my friend worked on years ago. He shared experience with me in the northern region of Cameroon. Very funny project. And they did not do design thinking. Well, I taught this and then he explained this to me in their nonprofit, a large nonprofit, international nonprofit. So they went to the northern region of Cameroon and they noticed that the Mbororos, right, the Fulanis, their kids were traveling distance, a long distance to go get water, like 1 hour, 2 hours to go get water. So they noticed that, oh, these people need drinking water around the communities. So they did boreholes and stuff like that. and tried, they got them water around the community so they could now walk maybe just 5 minutes, 10 minutes, maybe 2 minutes to get water. Guess what? When they went back for project evaluation a few months after, they noticed that the Fulanis were still going 1 hour, 2 hours away to go get water, even though there was a borehole just 5 minutes away. Can you guess why they were doing that? Now, if you have gone to the north, to the northern region of Cameroon, you will notice that they have very small houses. So you can see a mother, father, and 7 kids in one big house. Or there is one what you can call a sitting room, and then there's one room, right? So the parents kept on forcing the kids to go long distance to go carry water because that's the only time they, I hope that there's no kid here. That's the only time they have to make love. So they have to force their kids to go carry water for long distance because that's the only time they have a time for themselves. You see that? So the borehole did not serve the purpose for the family. So the guys on that. So we now notice that we had to focus on economic empowerment so that the parents can make more money and build better houses for themselves and the family. That was the real empowerment they needed, not really water or borehole that is closer to the community. You see, now, if they practice empathizing and maybe lived with them for a while or even do proper interviews, they would have heard the real reason why they are forcing their kids to go carry water 1 hour away or 2 hours away. You see the power of empathizing. So don't assume. And design thinking enables that you don't assume that. And when you're writing your project or your business plan, and the reader can hear the voices of the target market or the target population in your project, in your business plan, I'm telling you, there is a way that the person can believe you more and give you money for that project. Number two, after you empathize, you define. You define. Now, this is where you are trying to act like a chemist, right? You're trying to synthesize findings into clear, actionable problem statements. You have empathized. After empathizing, that there are some things that you discovered, right? So you now need to sit in your house, in your office, and try to synthesize those findings into an actionable problem statement in a way that somebody can understand. Like this example I gave, if with the right findings now, they need to define it. Oh, this is actually an economic problem, a poor housing problem. Define it in a way that people can understand. So let us say that somebody here is working in on food security project. So don't just say, oh, tell me, what is your NGO about? Don't say hunger. It's not defined. Or what is your business about? Or I am in healthcare. No, it is important to define. So instead of saying, oh, I am my NGO focuses on reducing hunger. No, that's not defined. So you can say something like, we work in food security, or my project is about food security, and we focus on mothers who lack reliable transport to transport fresh food to the market. So you can focus on helping rural farmers to get their foodstuff to the market so they can sell, be economically empowered, and of course help foodstuff to be available in bigger cities, for example. So the common mistake that people make is that they they write they try to describe their findings in a vague way. But your findings must be in terms of this is who we want to help, right? So define your findings in terms of this is who we want to help. So under finding your or defining your impact, what you empathize about, your main responsibility is to convert one big problem into a specific statement beginning with how we might do this, or we want to help this and this do this. So don't just say hunger. Don't just say unemployment. Don't just say what else? Financial difficulties. No. Can you define it? Can you go from hunger? We want to reduce hunger around the world. No. Can you find a part of that and define? Maybe you notice that, you know what? Hunger is growing because people who are in villages or who have big farms, they struggle to transport fresh food to big markets. And you can focus on helping rural women or families in rural areas to find better ways to transport fresh food into bigger markets. You see that? So your mission under stage 2 of this design thinking is to define what you found in the field in stage 1, which is converting your big problem into a specific problem statement. And sometimes I also recommend that it should begin with how might we try doing that? How might we do this? And try to be more specific in that particular area. And if I am going through your grant, I'm going through your proposal, if I see a lot of vague words, it's going to disconnect me from seeing the need to recommend funding. But if I see problem statements, actionable problem statements, they make it easy for somebody to say, oh, there is a problem, and they know what they're talking about, and they deserve this funding to go solve that particular problem. All right. If you are still following and you are not sleeping on me, can you type stage 3 in the chat box? Type stage 3 in the chat box. All right. If you're ready for stage 3, can you?
Doc, please unmute yourself. I'm still unmute you.
Yes, that's okay. All right. So we have seen that to properly apply design thinking, number 1, stage 1, empathize. Stage 2, define what you empathized, right? All right. Let's go to stage 3, ideate. One of my favorite things to do. I do a lot of corporate consulting, and I help a lot of people to do ideation of the ideas, because sometimes your ideas can be so scattered here and there. You have the data, you have the experiences, but you struggle to come out with the finest, idea to take to the market, right? So stage 3 is, they call it ideate. So this is where you are trying to generate a wide range of possible solutions to the problem without judgment. And I'm adding without judgment for people who have teams or volunteers. You see, from my experience, one of the best ways to get the best ideas is when you define the problem in stage 2, you define the problem statement. You come to your team and say, okay, guys, we have gone to the field. We have observed the people. We have empathized. We have taken down notes and all of that. Now, from the observations and the things I've written down, this is the problem statement we have defined or we have come out with. Now, stage 3, let us generate wide range of possible solutions without judging anybody. No judgment zone. Okay, everybody, give me your ideas on how we can solve this problem better. Let me tell you something. When you submit a project and the project reviewer can know that you guys went through different possible solutions before coming to one major session or one major solution, they like it. They like it, right? So stage 3 is the ideation stage, where you are doing your best to generate a wide range of possible solutions without judgment. And for personal recommendation is, I always tell those who are building ideas that never try to build your first solution. Never try to invest on the first solution that came to your mind. No. I always challenge people, think more. Can you be able to generate 10 plus solutions first? Right? So looking at that project that you have, if that is the first idea that came to mind and you're trying to build, trust me, you have not exhausted your brain. So on the ideation, you push yourself to generate a wide range of possible solutions without judging yourself or judging your team. Now, many a times, some people who have the money, they bring in other experts to share ideas on this at this particular stage. For some people who have volunteers or team members, they they can organize what they call ideation lab or ideation workshop, whatever, and they bring everybody in one room and everybody begins to suggest the best possible ideas without judging the ideas. They actually encourage, please, wrong ideas are welcome. Abstract ideas are welcome, right? Any idea is welcome. Why? Because under ideation, you will also learn that you can be able to bring idea one, idea two, idea three, idea four, and form an amazing solution. Like we always say under ideation, sometimes the best ideas come out when what you know and what you don't know, when there is that intersection, a new idea is born. And that's why we encourage a lot of possible solutions. You should always encourage a lot of possible solutions. Let different ideas come at you as the founder because you will use what you know and what you don't know. When the two converge, you always create a beautiful, better solution than you expected. Now, let us say that one of you here, one of your nonprofit or one of your projects is you focus on promoting local entrepreneurship among immigrants. And in defining the problem statement, you notice that um, immigrants from Africa, they are fearful in venturing into entrepreneurship. That's you trying to define the problem. All right, fine. Now, can you brainstorm on the ideation now? Can you brainstorm 20 ways to support small businesses from African immigrants? And can you look at these ways from starting from training to maybe helping them get business grants or business loans at low interest rate? You see, like for example, for those of us who grew up in the village, you will notice that in the village setting, we used to have things like village council and stuff like that, right? And village councils, when there was a situation, they will allow members from the community to propose ideas before the council elders now refine the ideas. That's ideation. All right. So learn to do ideation. And like I always encourage people, never start building on one idea when you have not pushed yourself enough to have 10 possible ways to solve that problem. Try. Ask people questions. Ask your colleague questions. Oh, if you wanted to solve this problem in this society, what will you do? You'll be surprised at the kind of ideas they'll tell you. And let me give you a hack that we have discovered that works a lot. Try to ask questions to people based on the work they do in the society or what they studied in school. See, take the same problem, right? Talk to a lawyer. What a lawyer will tell you will be totally different from what an accountant will tell you. Because a lawyer has a way that they see things. An accountant, the same way. A nurse, a medical doctor, a teacher, a high school principal, even a pastor, just try to get point of views from different people in the societies. Even a housewife who is not working, who is just a full-time stay-at-home mom. Try to get people from different angles or different professions and occupations to tell you how to look at that problem. I am telling you, you will break into more innovative ideas than you ever could imagine. But many people skip idea stage. Many people. You know why? Because for majority of the society, the hardest job for them is a thinking job. And because of the excitement, for some people, when they have an idea comes to their mind, they're so excited to get to work. It's not a good thing to do, right? So sit with the idea, do some ideation, generate a wide range of possible solutions without judging yourself and without even judging the people. Just focus on gathering. Just gather, just gather, just gather. If you are a good reader, read what other people have done in the same area, in other communities, in other nations. Yes, it also helps. That's another way to ideate. Go on the internet, go on Google, type um, non-profit in this area, and then indicate your sector. Or let's say in real estate, type real estate in the UK, real estate in Germany. Begin to read what others have been able to do. That's also ideation. You see, I'm sure Siri is going to talk to you on ChatGPT. You can go on ChatGPT, for example, and say, this is the idea and I want to do. If you are thinking like a doctor, a nurse, an accountant, a finance specialist, a pastor, how will you look at this idea? ChatGPT, who has the data of almost every kind of profession, he will tell you, oh, if I were a lawyer, this is how I would look at this idea. If I were an accountant, this is how I look at this idea. If I were a mother of two, this is how I will look at this idea. If I were a single person, a single girl, a single lady, or a single gentleman, this is how I will look at this. If I were married, this is how I will look at this idea. Ideation is very important. Look, if you get ideation wrong or you do inadequate ideation, many a times when you submit your project, and here's the funny thing, when you submit your project is always among what? Um, Maybe 200, 1,000 projects, 50 projects, 30 projects. So others who do it well will always have a better business plan or a better project than you. But when you do this well, trust me, your project will be stronger than most people. All right. So spend some time. If you have a team, you can put them in pairs. Put them in pairs. Challenge them. Can you list 5 ideas without evaluating them? If you have friends, send to a friend. Can you give me 5 ways you can solve this problem? Let them share with you their thoughts based on their experience, how they grew up, what they studied, the kind of work that they do, where they live. Focus on collecting those ideas. Focus on collecting them. Because as you're collecting them now, still that part of that ideation stage, you now begin to see the best idea that you can apply for that particular season. And then stage 4 is now prototyping. Stage 4 of design thinking is prototyping. Now, this is where prototyping is simple. Create a simple, low-cost version of solutions without, investing a lot of money. All right. In other words, your main aim in stage 4 is to explore the feasibility of the idea you want to launch. So, with prototyping, we always say that use little money. If possible, do it for free, right? Let's say, for example, somebody said that he or she is into youth development. And let's say one of your major projects is you want to create a youth mentorship program to help young people to gain employability skills. Now, you want to prototype this idea. You can decide and organize, for example, a weekend mentorship program in partnership with the church. You can use your church. You can get a church you can walk to or drive to and just partner with the pastor. And so, you know what? I am working on this project that it will happen, it will be a 3 months mentorship program. But before we launch our 3 months program, we want to start running just weekend programs. We want to partner with your church and work with your young people or your youth group. And can you be able to allow me to work with them for just one weekend, Saturday and Sunday, 2 hours every evening? Now, if the pastor can accept or can say, oh no, it's not possible, look for another church, look for a high school, whatever. But you're trying to find a very cost-effective way, or even you can do it for free. But you're looking for a very simple, low-cost version of your big idea. And you test it. You test the curriculum, you test the structure, you even test yourself, you test your trainers, you test everything that you want to do at a large scale in a very small scale. That's prototyping. You get the point. So you do that because the common mistake we have seen in people doing projects is that they spend a lot of time. They even pay grant writers to write proposals on ideas that they have not carried out prototype. Please never fully implement an idea without prototyping. It's a big risk because you're going to meet problems that you did not anticipate, and you have already started investing money, and you may not likely be able to proceed because you're going to meet big problems that you cannot solve. For example, there are some, let's say, compliance issues or licensing issues that you will discover that you need when you start prototyping. You're like, oh, so we need to get approval from this government agency before we can do this. Those are some things that you will experience when you start doing it at a small scale. Okay? So avoid writing proposals as if every idea must be fully implemented before prototyping. No, it's not good. So for those of you that you have ideas and you're planning to get a grant upon or launch at a big scale, I want to challenge you. Can you sketch one low-cost, low-risk way of testing that idea? Can you sketch it? Can you craft a low-cost, low-risk way of testing that particular idea? You see, because like I always tell people, very few investors or funders want to see big results before they fund you. Very few. They just want to see small testing with proven data to give you big money to do it at big scale. I'm telling you. But many people struggle to get this funding because they don't even go to investors or funders with any small test that they have done. All right. So stage 4, create a prototype. And then stage 5 now, you do the real testing and collect feedback. Stage 5, do the real testing and collect feedback. All right, we're running up. Stage 5, do the real testing, collect feedback. Because you need to collect feedback from the users that you're testing with, the prototype. And of course, then you refine the solution. Refine your processes, refine your strategy, refine your volunteers, whatever. You refine everything that you are supposed to do. All right. So one thing you can do is an exercise is identify one element of your project that you can test within the next 30 days. That's a challenge you can put for yourself. All right. Okay. This project I want to run. What part of this project can I prototype and can I test within the next 30 days? And make sure that you get honest feedback from your beneficiaries to strengthen your grant proposal. You see that? Because you need that feedback. And let me give you a tip. When you're writing your proposal, please add the feedbacks. Add the feedbacks. Somewhere in the proposal, there's a place to add, okay, when we did our prototyping, when we did our testing, out of the 30 people that benefited, we got feedback from 15 of them. And these are the top 3 feedbacks that we got. You put it somewhere And trust me, it changes your grant into a whole new level that gets the grant reviewers or investors who are looking at it to actually work with you. All right. So, as a roundup, again, when you do all this design thinking, it changes your grant proposal or your business plan. Because number one, grant reviewers are looking for the following. Number one, they're looking for your clear understanding of the community's voice and problem. Number two, they want to make sure that you are an expert in defining the problem rooted in evidence. You did not sit in your room and you imagined the problem and you design a solution. No, they want to be sure that the problem you want to solve is a well-defined problem rooted in evidence in the community. Number three, grant reviewers want to see that there is evidence of you exploring other options to solve the problem. That's why in some grants, you may need to add that, hey, while doing our research, we noticed that these people are trying to solve this problem by doing this, this, and that. All right. So an investor, that's why in business, investors ask, oh, who are your competitors? In other words, they want to be sure, hey, you have evidence that you have explored existing solutions to that problem. All right. And of course, number four, grant reviewers and even investors, they want to see realistic and tested pilots, realistic and tested prototypes. Have you tried in a little way to solve this problem with a small, low cost, low risk version of your solution? You see, so without you incorporating this in your plan or in your proposal or in your business plan, many proposals often sound vague. They sound very unrealistic, and people are like, it is not viable, it is not sustainable, and nobody can work with this. So, a brief assignment for you: review your own project outline and begin to note in your entire project, where can I apply design thinking? Where is design thinking missing in my project? When you incorporate this and submit your project, trust me, you will have an upper hand in that particular project. All right. If there are questions, I can answer them, and that will be it for my session. Siri, are you there? There are questions, I can do my best to answer them. You can maybe indicate in the chat box, or you can raise up your hand and Siri will moderate it, and I can respond to questions.
Thank you very much, Dr. Joybert, for this wonderful one. Please, if you have your, okay, we have Alice Mbong. Alice Mbong. Yes, go on.
Yeah, I want to ask if you have an NGO in Africa,
Yes.
but you don't have it in United States. Is it going to cause problem that you ask for grants here, or you need to apply?
No, it will not cause a problem. My NGO is in Cameroon, and I've applied for grants in the US, and I've had grants from the US, right? So as long as it is registered in Cameroon, you can get grants. However, also in the business, we have noticed that people that also have registered your NGO here, you have higher chances of getting grants faster, because there's something that funders do known as due diligence. So in Africa, in Cameroon, due diligence is kind of far-fetched for them. Sometimes they may need to hire somebody, or that's why they emphasize, oh, do you have a website? Do you have a Facebook page? And they want to go to your Facebook page and see pictures of you doing projects. Or number two, they'll ask questions like, can you indicate any previous funders that have funded you? What they ask those questions because they want to ensure that you are real, you exist, and you are not fake, right? Because one major thing that funders in the US fear about Africa, especially Nigeria and Cameroon, is fake NGOs. So they go the extra mile to be sure that, hey, this should be a real NGO. So I always say that if you have a nonprofit in Cameroon and you're in the US, or you can have somebody in the US who can be a partner with you and they register your NGO within the US, I strongly suggest you do that because it will remove a lot of obstacles from your way and help you get grants faster. We have seen that happen over and over.
If you apply for NGO in America, you need you need to still do activities here. Is
Okay.
that
No,
Okay.
I-
Let me answer this one
yes.
to her. Um, let me. Okay. When you have a non-profit in Cameroon and it's registered in America, there's something that is very important. I was going through. I'll give all the website tomorrow, and they said it is more preferable. Trust me, it is good to do things back home. Perfect, great things back home
Mhm.
in various country, but it gives an upper edge. It's been done years. Even an upper age because, for example, we are if 20 people applied for a grant and 19 of them are doing work in America, then two are doing work in Africa. Believe me, there's that place of preference, to first of all look at those who are doing something here. And now it is also quite good to see how you I don't know that dive into that, but no matter how it looks like, try to see how some activities are being done here. It gives more clarity to your funders and it make them trust you quite well. Now, for those who have non-profits in Africa, in Cameroon, all right, I will say this. Okay, he said already, but let me ask him to it. As you meet others who can work as partners with you, you can be another person and tell him this is my mission. You are creating yours. Can you
Mhm.
work as partners? You add my mission into yours. So I'm not doing this aspect, but you are doing it. So that when we
So,
apply now for rate, what happened? Okay, when, for example, Cyril, I'm into youth, but you are into environmental protection, you're in Africa. So we'll put my mission will be youth empowerment and also environmental protection. That's in the paperwork. So that when a grant now comes up, I want to apply now for environmental protection. What happens? My mission shows that what I'm doing environmental protection, and now it can work in line with it. So look at people who are doing the same thing, who are doing certain things. And you can also talk with them, partner with them, put your mission on that. But you people have, this have a very clear cut of understanding.
that is it? Yes, thank you.
Doctor, you gone?
yes. No, no, I'm here. So that's also very true. Now, also when you're applying for grants, also check because many funders in the US also specialize in funding people international grants, right? So
So,
also always check that to ensure that you work on that. Now, another thing to do is because like many people are always afraid that I don't want to do work in the US. Another thing that we have seen that work is sometimes if they want to do, let's say, on-site work in the US, if you are good with advocacy and policy stuff, you can focus on that, right? We focus on pushing advocacy policy so that you are not getting your hands on dirty and you focus on getting hands on dirty in Africa. Like there's a friend who has an NGO. When he's here, he focused on attending meetings, World Bank, United Nations, and to him, under his NGO, those are activities in the US, right? And then, but when it comes to projects, really, they are all in Cameroon and in Africa. You get the point. Because if you're in the US and there's a World Bank meeting going on in DC or going on in New York, why not just register and go there for free? It's free anyways, right? And that's you being part of policy, being part of advocacy and things like that. And you document it very well that, oh, our NGO participated in this World Bank meeting or what organization meeting or United Nations or whatever organization that you're going to attend in. And it shows that you're on ground in the United States and it also portrays your NGO as an international NGO because you have stuffs here and stuff in Cameroon. And it can, if you know how to do the business very well, it can get you in the good books of other bigger, non-profit international agencies. Yeah.
All right, Doc. I'm sorry that we are almost above time. You do have a few minutes after this. You say something. Um, Maybe tomorrow, Doctor will have time to pass by, answer a question at the end tomorrow. Um, Sangam, no, nobody's leaving right now. Please, the class will continue. Though it was supposed to be an hour, but I've added 10, 15 minutes on it. We have to do something. I always have to say I give Kado bonuses to people online. So, Doctor, thank you very much for this wonderful session. Please, if you definitely get something, let me see a hand in the comment section. Just to do something in the comment section. Let me see if you are active, you are on your phones. Dr. Joybert is based in the US. He's a business consultant. He did an introduction. Before you go off, Doc, please give us a short introduction of who you are and your work that you have done and your books out there so that I can dive into the next segment of today.
And
Well,
how
as
we
I
may
said,
get and how we may get in contact with him.
Yeah, no, don't worry,
you
don't
can
worry.
get it.
You get
If you
that.
get to Siri, you have gotten to me anytime. Yes. So again, my work a lot is into consulting and training in things like this. So if you are thinking of, you have an idea, you don't know how to convert it into a money-making business, I work on that. You have a business and you're not making money or sales or you're not growing, I work on that. So that's a lot in what I do. I also have books on Amazon from business strategy to ideation, to business models and marketing and all of that. So really business especially, you want to focus on how can my business really either move from idea to start making money or money to doubling the money. Like I just did a master class with my clients on how to go from 10 million to 100 million. It doesn't matter whether you're dollars or CFA, we can help you do that. So if you any business problem, talk to me and we can get it sorted out for you.
All right, thank you very much, Doctor. And I'm going to share the links to his book in the WhatsApp group if you're part of it. And as he's leaving, we have some time, some minutes to be together. Um, Welcome back, everybody, and I hope you had something from Dr. Joybert and it was an awesome time with him. And now let's just